All
That's
right. Um, okay. What's up, Jody? All right, so my name is Taylor Gallegos, and this whole series was something I thought would be really cool. Last one was great, and we've got one of these Zoom meetings before every one of the first Fridays. And today we have a very special guest, Lynn Abate-Johnson, as our speaker. Um, so the way this is going to work, we're going to have Lynn do a talk, a speech about community building, and then after her talk, then we'll have a question and answer section. And then after the question and answer, it can kind of open up into just a free flow conversation. Um, and if that takes an hour, great. If it takes 2 hours, great. Hour and a half, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're here for all the fun of it and talking art with artists. And the idea, the intention really behind this whole series is to bring all of us artists, us Oceanside artists, closer together. Um, and we feel like it's just a win-win-win for everybody, the community, us individual artists, and the art walk itself. So that is what we're doing here. So without further ado, here we have Lynn Abate-Johnson. Lynn is not only a local artist, a jewelry designer, but a two-time international best-selling author. She participates in the First Friday Art Walk. She's also a professional community builder. Underline on the unity element there. Um, and global business consultant who teaches, trains, consults entrepreneurs and brands to amplify and grow their business, resulting in more customers who return and refer. You can learn more about her at lynnabatejohnson.com. Lynn, and that is in the chat right there.
Are we
Um,
going to have everybody introduce themselves?
we are, I totally spaced that. Sorry. Thank you for that.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I'll just start after everybody else introduces themselves.
Okay, cool. Right. Thank you. What we're going to do is we're going to start with our introduction. So we're going to go around the horn. Everyone's going to say their name, maybe where they're originally from, and then say what type of art you do, and maybe say your favorite color.
Favorite color. I like that.
John, you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Dawn Tappan, born in Texas, but grew up in Southern California. I manage the Art Walk. I'm also an artist. I do very process-based abstract paintings. I did go to school for illustration. Can you guys hear me? Okay. And yeah, I'm also on the planning committee of the Oceanside Museum Artist Alliance. And my favorite color right now is pink. It changes.
Nice. Yeah, Deborah, you want to go?
Sure. Deborah Chandler. I'm from New York originally. Lived in Texas for a while. Absolutely loved it. But still born and bred New Yorker. I do resin art mostly on it's functional and artistic home decor. So charcuterie boards, jewelry trays, glass jars, all that kind of fun stuff. And my favorite color today is probably a Bermuda blue.
Nice. Lex, you want to go?
Hey everybody, my name's Lex. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I've been here for about 20 years now. I'm a metalsmith, so I make all kinds of different stuff. But the things that I have at markets is these wearable singing bowls that make sounds, and then other wearable stuff that might have stone settings in them and things like that. And I'm a mom to a 6-year-old, so I'm kind of new to getting back into markets because I'm a full-time teacher, metalsmithing teacher too. So I'm trying to like open up a little bit of time now that she's a little bit older. So I'm excited to be here, and this is the first Friday nights I'll be a part of. So thank you.
Nice. What do we got? Let's see, Amanda?
Okay, sorry, I was muted. Hi, everyone. My name's Amanda. I am originally from New York, so it seems like we've got some East Coasters in the house, which is so refreshing. I moved out here 8 years ago, and I owned Blessed and Bougie storefront in Oceanside for 3 years. We just closed down our business storefront. It was pretty rough for the last, oh, we closed down, I think, about 4 months ago. So I've been trying to find something to get me back into creativity and making my heart happy again. So I started making handmade candles and getting into abstract painting. Not ready to display my abstract paintings yet, but my candles have been something that's been very therapeutic and been getting a lot of love on that. And then I just started designing my own boho dresses, which I created myself, and then now I'm having them manufactured. So just trying to stay in the fashion and creativity and art realm that makes my soul and heart happy, and then connecting with the community as well has been a passion of mine. So again, thank you so much for having me this Friday. I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone, and then also having my old customers from my storefront. They're so excited to come out and meet everyone, and then to see me again. Trying to get back out there with markets and pop-ups have been challenging, but excited to be a part of this one. So thank you.
There you go. Let's see. Who do we have left? Deborah?
No, we did Deborah.
We did Deborah.
Jody.
Jody. Oh,
Oh,
all right, Jody.
Jody's in the chat.
Hi, she said, "Hi, I'm Jody. Thanks for having me. Not able to get my sound or video to work. I'm a scarf designer, a painter, photographer, surface designer from San Marcos. My favorite color is purple." Nice. Welcome, welcome. And then Kaleem. Do we have Kaleem here? Able to,
It's like he's
he's going, he's got the
he's
silent jam
connecting
going.
to audio.
Okay. Um, my name is Taylor Gallegos. I'm from Boulder, Colorado originally, moved out here in 2011. I do murals and paintings on canvas. Um, I love making art. It's the best. It's the most fun thing to do. And let's see, we got a Marietta. And my favorite color, I've been going with really bright colors recently on these murals, and yeah, I've actually been really liking this like kind of purplish, like bright purple, kind of like you have in the back there on that painting, Don. Um, yeah. And then Marietta, do you wanna go?
Uh, I, oops. Uh, I don't know how to turn the camera. Okay, I'll go without camera.
No problem.
Um, my name is Marietta Cohen. I have a degree in textile design, but for a very long time I'm not doing that. I'm painting since probably 14 years old. And what was the question? There were three questions.
Where are you from originally, and what's your favorite color right now?
Uh, my favorite color is orange, and originally I'm from Bulgaria.
Awesome. Cool. And then Lynn, do you want to go? Is there anything you want to add there?
I think you said everything except, oh, I was born in Detroit, Michigan, and partially raised in LA area and Detroit. And my favorite color is everything behind Dawn. Everything she paints is my favorite colors. Those bright pinks. I love the jewel tones.
Well, all right. Well, I already gave you guys the bio. Without further ado, Lynn, you want to take it over?
Thank you. Yes. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you all. And please always feel free to tag me on things that we're gonna talk about this tonight too. With the art walk accounts is to make sure that we're tagging each other so that we can get each other's attention and people can reshare whenever they want to. And so I'm going to start out with a little visioning. And this vision, oh, sorry, thought I turned everything off. Um, this vision is to imagine that you've been invited to a party and that you'll be meeting a bunch of strangers for the first time. You don't know anybody. You might know one or two people. And, for those of you who are kind of shy or introverted, you might really relate to this. Like, yeah, this is a little bit stressful. You're not sure what you're getting into. And you may or may not choose, depending on your mood or how you feel, you may or may not choose to go to that party, right? Anybody been there? And on the other hand, if you're invited to a gathering or a party or an event and you know that you're going to know people and that they're not just a bunch of strangers, then you're more likely to go, right? Because there's no kind of friction. And even if you're shy or introverted, at least you know that you're going to know people. So, what I've done and what I'm going to focus on tonight, really specifically, is a brief part of what I teach in my courses. Um, I've created an approach for events that address ways to build your community, which is your business community, holistically. And what makes it holistic is that there's always a before, during, and after of every event, occasion, campaign, on or offline. So you can apply this to online, your digital presence, and you can apply it to in person. Now, for this purpose, we've got the art walk coming up this Friday. So I'm really going to kind of zero in on that. Um, Now, how many of you are planners? I'm a big planner. I plan everything. Sometimes I plan everything to death. Um, and so for those of you who are planners, this might not be such a stretch for you. But if you're curious enough, even curious enough to do a little research before each event that you are attending, um, for for you, this will seem like a no-brainer. For others, this will take some practice and some extra time and effort. And today, my goal is to give you a few really simple takeaways that you can try as an individual and also as a group to begin building what I call true community. And as Taylor said, emphasis on community or emphasis on unity, right? The com part is the communication piece to build unity in our gatherings. So this can apply again to every event, campaign, workshop, webinar that you commit to being a part of. And I have to say that out of all of the events that I do, the First Friday Art Walk is masterful at this, thanks to Dawn and her attention to details, and also that she's really making our whole community more social in so many different ways. So you're going to recognize some of this, and we're sharing some links with you. In fact, if you wanted to click on some of those links that Dawn already dropped, and you can save them for later and take a look, I'll be referring to those. So you'll kind of recognize what you've been seeing is what actually is happening with the art walk. Not every event, however, and some of you who have done more than the art walk, you already know that not every event organizer is on top of this stuff. So what I'm here for is I'm here to educate those organizations. And I did a talk 2 weeks ago with the Oceanside Cultural Arts Foundation. I spoke at their board meeting because I'm really committed to having these organizations do a much better job of, they want attendance at their events and they want people to, for example, for OCAF, they want people to donate to their cause. However, they don't know exactly how to make that happen. And so what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight is key for that. Um, so the before, we're going to start with the before. A couple of very simple things that you can do in advance. These things are not hard to do, however, they do take time. So I like to block out time on my calendar to invest in my business by doing these things. Number one, and this really works for me. I don't know about you, but if you ever get a text from a friend or an organizer, somebody that's putting on an event and says, and the text says, I'm really looking forward to seeing you this Friday. How likely are you to feel special and want to show up for that? More likely than if it's just like, oh, what you can show up or not show up. But if somebody actually reaches out to you personally, you're going to make more of an effort. So, what I like to do is I like to reach out to my local friends personally and give them a reminder, even the day before the event, to say, hey, here's where I'm going to be. I'll also put it in my newsletter because I do have an email list. So if you don't already have an email list, you might want to think about that. Um, and I can give you ideas about that like later during the Q&A or whatever. So if you have a question about email lists, you can write that down. Also, so the first thing is just to reach out to people personally with a personal invitation. Nothing will ever replace word of mouth. However, social media is like word of mouth on steroids. So it's really interesting that, when you combine the two, you're really leveraging tools that are still free. All it takes you is a little bit of extra effort and time to text people, to post on social media. So we're going to get a little bit more into that piece. Um, always ask the event organizers for a list of the people who are participating. And I've done this for conferences I've attended, for business, everything else, because I want to start to follow those people in advance. And I want to get to know um, them and their businesses so that I have some familiarity. I think over the years, especially since the pandemic, I've developed a little social anxiety. So for myself, I know it really helps me to feel more relaxed going into a new event or a new conference or a new situation. If I'm already connecting with people online and learning a little bit about them as much as possible before I show up at the event. Now, there's a map that Dawn dropped the link to um, in the chat above. And if you if you look at that page, can everybody see that page? Because it's amazing. So Dawn's got the map on there of where all of our booths are, all of our spaces are marked and numbered. But she's also got a list of all of us who are going to be displaying there, showing up as artists. So what I do is I take that list and I go through, and she's got clickable links of either websites or Instagram handles. And I want to show you this little screen recording that I just did. So here's what I do. I have an iPhone, so I have my notes in my iPhone. So whatever mobile device you have that you're going to have with you at the event, you want to copy and paste all of the Instagram handles. And I do it in a way that's very strategic. So I know that Instagram's only going to allow me to tag 20 people, for example, on on a story, right? When I'm at the event. So if I'm like, let's say it's 5 o'clock, I've set up, it's kind of slow maybe, or, I have a slow moment, then I'm going to, do a little quick video of the event. And then I'm going to tag people that I know are there at the event. So here's, so if you open up that even anytime between now and the next hour, let me know if you can't open it and I will share my screen. It's still downloading right now. So basically, it's a list of groups of 20 Instagram handles at a time. And then I'm going to be able to copy and paste those into my story. For example, that's just one thing that you can do. So let's see. I want to make sure I remember everything. So I'm going to refer to my notes. Yeah. And especially when you have people who you're starting to get to know, Like I've been starting to get to know Deborah and her work, for example. And so I'm really excited to be meeting her in person, seeing her work, and I have seen it in person, so that I feel even more of an affiliation with those of you that I'm connecting with ahead of time online. The whole point is to be able to start conversations with people um, online. And, back in my sales days, I got into sales way, way, way when I was in college. And I always um, trained my sales team how to qualify prospects. So when you see people commenting on posts by the Art Walk or any other posts that are related to the Art Walk, you know that those people may be interested in what you have. And so you can start building relationships with them. And that is really the name of the game, right? It's building relationships. So just those two things, reaching out personally with a text message or an email, and then starting to get to know the people using that tool that Dawn has provided on the Art Walk website. Uh, it really, really works. And you heard Dawn earlier, like we wouldn't have known each other really if I didn't take note and then start to watch for her posts. Same thing with Taylor. Taylor's been all over the place doing murals in Colorado, in Northern California, and I just love seeing that. So of course I'm going to go in and give him some love too. And that's just what I like to do. It takes a couple minutes, and it really, for the little bit of effort that it takes on our part, it makes a big difference to those people that you're building relationships with. So that's the before. So some of you, let's see. Okay, I already said that what if some of these organizations do not have a list that don't do as great a job as the Arc Walk does? Start asking them. Start asking them if you could get a list of the people that are going to be at that event with you. Now, the Art Walk has a lot. We have around 60 artists, Dawn, and all of the musicians too. So remember, it's the whole event, including the musicians that you want to be out there interacting with and promoting. Um, so that's a solid foundation. That's a really great foundation. And um, one last thing that you can do that's kind of more manual is what we've been doing. We have a street team now for the art walk. And street team means that a bunch of us just got together and decided that we were going to get flyers from the art walk. They're printed, they're beautiful. If you haven't seen them, I highly encourage you to make sure on Friday when you're at the art walk, go over to the information table and grab yourself a few flyers so that you can keep those in your car, in your backpack, and you can be handing them out in between the events to people that you want to personally invite to come. So that's another kind of analog way. You don't need anything digital for that. And it really makes a big difference to keep those flyers handy. Um, so before I wrap up, there's two more things. I want to cover the during and the after of events. So we covered the before and now the during. So Taylor talked about this at the last event, at the last Creative Circle, which I thought was brilliant and it makes total sense. You get to decide, you're the business owner, you're the creative, you're the artist. So you get to choose what your focus is going to be for that particular event. So if your focus is to sell your products, great, that's really clear. So you'll build your focus around that. And some people like me, I'm out there, meeting people, meeting new people in town. I'm a very social butterfly, obviously. For those of you who are more introverted or shy, I think some of that before work is going to help you when you actually get to the event, right? So once you get to the event, um, well, let me not leave that subject. What your purpose is of being there is going to drive how you set up. It's going to drive how you speak to people. So if you're there to sell products or you're there to meet people or you have an email list and you want to grow it, you want to get followings on Instagram and you want to grow that. there's all of these different focuses that you can choose. And if you try and hone in on just one or two very simple focuses, that's really going to help you concentrate, whether you're social or whether you're more introverted. Um, so a couple of things that I do during the event is I try and make time to go around and visit the other vendors that I've already been meeting online, and now I want to meet them in person. I want to kind of see their art in person. I want to see who they are, and it's really great. I mean, I also love to take selfies with people, and you can use that as content after the event to make a little reel and not only promote your own art, but also be in the community of helping other people promote theirs by tagging them in your reels. And of course, you want to tag and ask the Art Walk account to collaborate with you. And if you don't already know how to do that, you can ask any of us really how to mark that. Most people know, but in Instagram to add somebody as a collaborator really makes a difference because then your post shows up on their wall, on their main wall. Um, Also, there's ways that you can exchange electronic cards. I have an app called Hi Hello. It helps, like, people can just take a photo of my QR code and then my contact information gets dumped into their phone and vice versa. Um, I also want to mention email lists again because I didn't start building an email list until I came out with my first book. I didn't even have a website for many, many years, like decades, that I was building my business by word of mouth. And so now that I have an email list and I'm using it to let people know where I'm going to be, like here, I'm going to be at the Art Walk this week and I'm going to be at the Carlsbad Library the day after that, then that goes into my email just to let the people who are following me know where they can come and see me. So if you add yourself to the person's email list and they add themselves to yours, that's something that you can do quickly on the fly if you have some time to go around visiting. Sometimes that's not always possible. So it's an idea that you can kind of put in your back pocket to try out. Um, Another thing that I have, and I'll show you an example of this, is a lead magnet. And I think, and this has a lot to do with this has a lot to do with if you have a website and you're looking to build your email list, is offering a gift were just in exchange for their email address. And that's one way. And you'll see on mine one example. I think, Taylor, you might also have something like an opt-in to build your email list. I want to hear from you about that because I know that you're doing some teaching and mentoring yourself. And so this is a really handy way to make sure that you're keeping in touch with people in between events. Um, okay, so that's during. Those are a few specific things that you can do during the event. After each event, again, block out pockets of time to follow up with each and every person that you met and that you felt a connection with. Now, we want you to be authentic about this, right? So if you're just not connecting with somebody or, it's just not your cup of tea, then don't fake it and don't show up and do something that you think you should do. Like, don't should on yourself. You do what feels right for you and what feels authentic and pure in your heart. And so if you do want to build relationships that scale or that last for years and years and develop over years, then what you want to do is to get involved and help people get their messages out. Instead of posting all your own stuff all of the time. And again, the Art Walk does an amazing job of this, is resharing different events around town, resharing artists' posts. And so you can do that very easily on your stories, right? If it's a post that comes out on their wall. So yeah, just making sure that you're doing a little bit of that. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time. It's really just, taking a little pocket of time here and there in between all of your other life obligations and activities. So I think that's pretty enough for now. I know it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose once I start going, and I've got all of these creative ideas in my head about ways to build relationships by building community around your business and what your specific goals, dreams, desires, and focus is. And just to recap, so before the event, look for the list of the vendors, reach out personally to people that you know who could come and participate and walk around the art walk, give out those flyers, right? During go visiting, introduce yourself, say, hey, and a lot of times I won't recognize the person's name because maybe they're not using their name. Like I don't use my name in my Instagram handle. So you wouldn't necessarily know that that's me by looking at my Instagram handle. So that's during you want to introduce yourself and then focus in on really what you want and do that email list opt-in too, if that's a possibility. And then afterwards, engaging with more than just a like. A like is kind of a lazy way of saying, yeah, I like it. Say why you like it, or say congratulations, or say woohoo, or like even one word or expression teaches the algorithm, that almighty mysterious algorithm, that you are in a relationship with this person. So it's going to surface your posts and their posts more often. So definitely keep the love going between events. Shout out others that you work that your their work resonates with you, and but make sure that it's genuine. And I think that's good for now. That's plenty, right? And we'll open it up for questions too, if anybody has questions.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you, Lynn. Excellent work. Uh, it's fun when you get going on everything. You got good energy on the whole community aspect here. Okay, so now is the Q&A phase here. So if it's just kind of like popcorning, so you don't have to raise your hand or anything like that. Just unmute yourself and start talking, throw out whatever questions you've got. Does anyone have anything right off the bat?
I do. First, I want to say thank you, Lynn, so much. This has been really refreshing, and I learned a lot. Like, there's some things I do that you mentioned, but then there's some things that I'm like, oh, you know what? I never really thought about connecting with someone after, and that I don't know if it's because I'm an extrovert introvert, I guess, but I do love to connect with people. But then I always kind of feel awkward afterwards. But I think it would be nice to genuinely thank them and just say, hey, thanks for your support. Look forward to seeing you again. This is the next event I'll be at, and try to like leave that door open. So I really appreciate that feedback. And I'm like, where was she when I was struggling with my business to keep my doors open? Like that would have been amazing. But you live and learn, and I've been just trying to stay as positive as possible. But the question I do have, since this is my first time coming, what time is the earliest I can come and set up? Because it does take time for me to like get stuff out of the car and set everything up. So I didn't know. And like, are the spots numbered? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so the spots will be numbered and chalked off.
Okay,
I mean, you can really come anytime you want. I mean, most people start coming around 2:30,
perfect. That's what I was hoping.
2:33.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm usually there by between 2:30 and 3 o'clock, but we have a couple of vendors that are already set up by 2:30, which is like, all right, you guys, it's a little early, but yeah,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, because we're not really blocking any businesses or anything like that. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then are they numbered before 2:30 or by 2:30 will they
I
be
number
numbered?
them in, I number them in the morning. So yeah, they'll be numbered.
Okay, perfect. So I'll go on a little scavenger hunt when I get there. And then where do you guys recommend to park?
The Civic Center has free parking, and if you get there by 2:30, you won't have a problem parking in there.
Okay.
And you can unload and then yeah, it just kind of depends if you're bringing somebody to help you watch your stuff.
I'm
Uh,
trying to.
yeah, there's usually a couple of us there to help watch things while you're unloading, which is why we kind of try and have everybody unload in a similar area. Because obviously, two of us can't watch 60 people's things at the same time
Oh,
while they
of course
park.
not.
So we
Okay.
try and get everybody to kind of unload like on Pier View Way, kind of at the beginning of the alley or across the street where the fountains are. That way I can keep an eye on your stuff. But
Okay.
then yeah, you can unload and then go park your car because the Civic Center parking is basically right there because you're in the fountain area, if I remember correctly.
74. I think I'm
Yeah.
74.
You're
Okay.
You're actually pretty close to the Civic Center parking. You
Oh, perfect.
And I posted the link again here closer to the bottom now,
Okay.
Amanda. Everybody else, you can see it's the oceansideartwalk.org/venues. And that's where
The map.
it's got the map and she's got our space numbers all listed.
Perfect.
And so it's really clean, really clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is quick question, Dawn, is my
Yep.
space like drive upable to drop stuff off, or am I gonna have to haul stuff?
No, you're gonna have to, yeah, you're gonna have to move some stuff.
How far you think?
Um, it's not that bad. Do you have
Okay.
a I mean, it's not crazy.
Okay.
Do you have a like a wagon or something?
I'm gonna have to pack it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I would bring your wagon just so you don't, have to carry everything.
Yeah.
Okay. The tables are just the heaviest. That's all.
Right. And if you come at that time too, there's usually parking on the street.
Oh,
There's ample parking. Um, you can usually get a spot pretty close.
Mhm.
okay, cool. Well, that relieves my anxiety a little bit because I don't I enjoy markets, but when there's a lot of people, I guess COVID's got me like people-y anxiety. I don't even know. So, and I know the ocean's like that's what I've been fearing to even try to do Sunset because it's just way too people-y for me. So I'm trying to get out there with this one.
Well,
This,
it's open. You're in the courtyard area. It's
yeah.
Okay.
not super congested.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate your time and I'll hang on to listen to questions, but that's all I have for right now.
Yeah, and something I forgot to mention that is amazing, also new this year, is a social share page. And I just popped the link in there. Open that page up, and you're going to see plenty of resources. There's artwork that you can download and create your own post out of. But if
Oh,
you don't,
cool.
if you, pardon?
I said, oh, cool. Sorry, I didn't think
Yeah.
I was
If you
muted. My bad.
if you don't want to create your own post, there's a section at the bottom of that page that has all of the Instagram posts, the recent Instagram posts. So go in, click on one, and then just be resharing those and then tagging your friends. It's great to have that social share page. And
Um,
Amanda, I remember you with your shop, Blessed and Bougie. And I love that you're coming to the art walk, and I can't wait to see some of your designs.
Oh, thanks, Lynn.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I got to partner with this new manufacturer that I partnered with, and I'm just super excited to start designing my own because at when I had the storefront, it was just challenging to even get that far. So this has been fun. But yeah, I'm excited to get back out there again. I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard for me to close down my shop. I went down a dark depression hole for a few months and um just found my light again. So happy to get out there again. Looking forward to connecting with you.
Yay.
um, I've got a question for you, Lynn. Uh, so you talked about different ways, different techniques of making people special beforehand. You know, you look up their lists and then you reach out to them, you start building these relationships. Do you have any ideas or thoughts on ways to really like make people feel special during the event? Do you have any like tips or ideas, kind of how to do that?
Yeah, well, one of them that's really simple and it's really quick because we have our own booths, right? That we have to be there for. So not everybody has a second person that could stay and watch your table while you're off visiting and flitting around. So if you just have a few minutes, I like to go by and take selfies, or I call them ussies because it's more than one person. But I go around and I take ussies with the person and I make sure that I'm in the camera, they're in the camera. So it's the people, because people always want to see people more than they want to see just products, right? So if you mix in the people with the products, so for me, it would be like holding up a copy of my book or both my books or my jewelry. And for like my friend that does Love O side, for example, or I've got a few friends now, go around, take a Ussie, make sure that their sign, if they have signage or they have artwork, that's in the background. So just do a quick snap and then, go back to your table and do a little posting in between customers. So that's one really quick way during the event that you can make a difference. And that you can, I'm a little bit strategic, so I try and do a lot of that stuff in the first hour because the art walk goes from 5 to 8. And I really want to get people to come down there, get up off their butts and come down there. And I go, come see me. Like, make it personal. Come see me. And people will feel, again, special that you're posting that and you're tagging them even. So be a little bit bold about getting your people, your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers to get their butts down there and enjoy the art walk until 8 and the After Dark concert series. Let me just say one thing. I've been saying this, Dawn's been hearing me say this to everybody. The music alone is worth the price of admission, which is free. And but seriously, like the music is off the charts. We've got the drumming circle, amazing. And we've also got the Artist Alley, the Civic Center, and the Museum of Art that are all having live musicians during the event. So I would definitely be getting some little video clips of the music. And again, tag them, tag your friends. And then the After Dark concert series, again, it's going to be great. We're all going to stay after, we're going to dance. And so, yeah, just make it like a social, like a party. Who would you invite to your party? Do that.
And I would also say too that if somebody, I'm terrible at photos. I hate having my photo taken, but a lot of artists, when somebody buys something at their booth, like Marivelle's great at it with Love O-Side, she takes a picture of them with what they bought. And then she posts that, like, hey, can I take a picture of you with the shirt you just bought, or the painting you just bought, or the print you just bought? And that's a great way too to connect with the customers.
Exactly.
Yeah, help make them feel appreciated
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
What other questions we got?
Uh, one more question. Do we break down after the concert or at 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
Okay, just checking. Thanks.
Yeah, we don't get to see the whole concert. But we did that this year because I felt like a lot of times, because it's Friday, which is a hard day sometimes for people to kind of get out and get there. I think sometimes people are like, oh, it's getting close to the end of the art walk. Let's just go next week, or let's not go. Or I feel like now that we have music later, it's like, oh, well, we can go because we'll be there before the artists are breaking down. And we still have another hour of music that we can listen to. So it's kind of continues the art walk.
Yep.
And maybe next year we'll extend it till 9 o'clock. It used to go till 9 o'clock 5 or 6 years ago, but it gets dark. But now I feel like lighting is so cheap on Amazon that we probably could go till 9 o'clock and everybody could just have lighting. It just gets cold by the beach. It does get really cold once the sun goes down. So we'll see.
Lynn, I'm wondering if there are any like conceptual or like philosophical elements to building community that come up in your mind, specifically for building your business
Absolutely.
or just in general.
In general, touches on what I was saying earlier about how people respond. And you can see, you could prove this to yourself. People respond more if we're talking about social media posting, for example, people respond much more to a video of you or real people in general, or a photo of you with your art, like standing in front of your art, being welcoming. It's just, you have to think about it as it's everyday life and you're attracting people and you're inviting people to a party. So, social media is a lot like that. It's like inviting people to a party, and then when the people show up, it's up to you to capture their interest, to keep them uh, to keep them engaged, to make them want to invite their friends to come the next time, to make them want to keep in touch with you because they like you. There's some jargon that I could use about in marketing, we call it the know, like, and trust factor. And that's exactly what has people doing business with people. And by the way, people don't do business with logos. So if you have a great logo, that's cool. Just remember, they're not doing business with your logo. They're doing business with you. And the idea is to have people get to know you. So make it personal because I believe that business is personal. It's a part of us, especially when we're artists and we're pouring our hearts into our work. It's very personal. So getting people to know you, getting people to like you. And by the way, guess what? Not everybody's going to like you. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but you're going to be some people's cup of tea. And those are your people. Those are your people. That's your tribe. So it takes time to cultivate that. So there's the know, there's the like. And then as soon as those two are handled, they're going to start trusting you. And the coin of the realm for all businesses, I don't care what kind of business it is, and this is why I teach so many types of business owners, is that um, people don't care how much you know or how, intelligent or smart, or whatever you are. They need to know that you care. People want to know that you care, and you can't fake that. If you're faking that, people are going to find out. And so I always tell people, you know what? If you're a jerk in real life, you're going to show up that way on social media. So you'd better just stay off of social media. The idea is to get people to invite them into your party. And then you have a chance to get to know them and they start to trust you. And then guess what else happens? After they start to do business with you, you want them to return, right? You want repeat customers, don't you? How many of you have repeat customers? Yeah. So you want people to be repeating their business and coming to you the next time they need that unique thing that you're creating. The third and the coin of the realm, and most businesses forget this, is getting referrals. So there's four words that I teach every client. Four words. Even if they're not doing business with you right now, they're going to know somebody else who may want to do business with you. So get used to asking the question, who do you know? And when you get referrals, like I don't give referrals lightly. So people know that about me. They know that I don't just blow smoke. Like I'm a very direct, very intense personality. I am not going to recommend somebody that I can't live with if they mess up or if they do my friends wrong, right? So I make sure that people feel comfortable referring me to their friends, family, coworkers. That's a serious vote of confidence, right? And so getting referrals is the coin of the realm for all of us. But that takes time. So hope that helps. Does that answer the question? Okay.
Yeah, and it reminds me of or one
Oh,
thought that
the guy who painted the mural
Which mural?
in the corner, the big one.
Oh, with the eyes?
We've got Kaleem.
what's up, Kaleem?
No, you know how his name is?
Woohoo!
Claim there are corners all over the place.
The corner of Tai Chi food.
Kaleem.
Well,
Oh, great to hear from
um,
Kaleem.
yeah, no, okay, so there's this concept that I heard in about marketing that I've always connected with, which was this concept of romance marketing. So, romance is as opposed to like caveman marketing, where you basically the cave person would come in and like club someone over the head and say like, "You're mine now," or "I want, buy my stuff." Like, but romance marketing is where what you do is you just like say hi a lot and you like build trust, you get people to know you, like there's a lot of that. And then there's an offer that goes along with it. So there's kind of like this balance
Yeah.
being like used so that you're not so you're like yeah, it's sort of like this like introduction, hello, 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 and then there's the offer that's like done correctly, used, wisely.
Yeah,
It kind of reminds
exactly
me of that.
right. It's also another way of saying there's another term called permission marketing, right? So no spamming people, no adding people to your email list without their permission. When I started my email list, when my first book came out about 2.5 years ago, I literally texted all of my friends and family members. Literally, I took days doing this. And I said, would it be okay if I add you to my email list? And if so, what email should I use? And I did have three of my friends say no. They said, no, thanks. I don't want email. It's too much for me. Can't handle it. I'm just going to follow you on social media. And, of course, we're personal friends, so we're going to keep in touch that way. So, can you imagine if I would have added them without their permission? That's just not nice. Don't
Yeah.
do that shit. Oop.
I think we're all adults here. I think that's okay. Do you want to dive in? Did someone have a question? Do you want to dive into talking about email lists a little bit? Like the value of them or any best practices or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, was it Dawn and I that were talking about this? Somebody was asking me about the servers to use, to set up email. Um, there are, well, my website's on Squarespace, so they already have an email client built in. So I use that. But before, when I was building websites for clients, which I do not do anymore, but when I was doing that, I used Constant Contact a lot instead of any other server like MailChimp, for example. Um, and here's why, because I'm a stickler for great customer service. And MailChimp, when I was doing it, they didn't have good customer service at all. You couldn't even, it's kind of like the socials. You can't reach anybody. You can't reach a real person. So Constant Contact was great because one time there was a bug. There was actually a bug that I thought it was my mistake. I was trying to do this thing for a client, and I finally called Constant Contact, and the guy stayed on the phone with me for an hour, and he fixed the bug. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's not you, that's us." Um, so, email marketing, it's a double-edged sword. I think it's important to be able to have channels that you own. And we do not own anything on social media. So the minute you post anything on social media, first of all, if you think there's any privacy left in the world, then you're wrong because there's no more privacy anytime, anywhere. As soon as the mobile phone came along, and even before that, everybody's listening to everything, whether you like it or know it or not. So when we post on social media, that's called earned media. We don't own it. So what we own is our website and our email list and our blog, which is on our website. So although I don't build the websites myself, I have someone on my team that does that. Very basic. You can have a 1 or 2 page website. Actually, Google search likes you to have at least 3 pages. Um, to show up in search results. But the email piece of it, and to have that opt-in box, you'll see when you go to my website, you'll see I have a little opt-in box that's inviting people to come in and join my community. And so I think every website needs to have that opt-in box and let people decide for themselves whether they want to trust you with their email list or not. Um, I also, people have asked me about being an author, and I have 2 international best-selling books, and I don't have a dogma about how to write a book. Like that just doesn't that just doesn't make sense to have a dogma, like a set way to do it. Just like blogging, just like sending out an email. I do not subscribe to the old marketing idea of you have to post a certain day, a certain time, you have to do a blog post at least once a week or twice a week. No, no. Once you start to force yourself to do those shoulds, like some people tell you one thing, some people tell you another. No, use your own instinct, trust yourself, and do it when it feels natural. I love to cook. So I'm in the kitchen and I'm thinking about, oh, what do I want to cook? I really don't have any business even being in the kitchen unless I'm really inspired to create that meal with love. I know it sounds weird, but for those of you who like to cook, you can probably relate. You have to be inspired. It's the same thing with amplifying your business. You have to be inspired. And so I believe in alignment and not the hustle and grind culture that we've come to know, which is based on such antiquated ideas. Um, so I won't get more into my philosophy about that. Otherwise, you won't never get rid of me. Um, but really do what you feel like doing. Do what your gut tells you to do, what your heart tells you to do. And, run it by people, run it by friends, run it by family. I just launched a new course that I'm going to be teaching. It's 1 hour. And I ran it by several people that I trust. My sister's one and a couple of good friends. And I said, hey, I need your critique. I need you to go through this. What words do I need to add and what words do I need to take away? So get yourself a circle of support of people that you trust and you value their opinion and ask them. Don't be paying marketing experts to tell you about your business. You know yourself and you know your business the best. Does that help answer your, yeah, instinct, man. Trust your gut.
Yeah, I feel like that ties into like authenticity, and which is neat because we're all artists and what we're all trying to do is make real, connected, authentic, original art. And we as artists are an extension, like an extension of that. Art is an extension of us and vice versa. And really like is I've had an email list for years and years, and I've gone through all these phases of trying different things. And one that the track that I'm on right now that feels great is just trying to be as authentic as possible and use my voice. And I imagine writing it to one of my friends or family members directly.
Yeah.
And so it's not like just like throwing it out to the wind and like, it's kind of that thing like if you try to reach everybody, you're reaching nobody. But
Yep.
instead like then but I like that idea of having like a little circle of people who know you and um can let you know if it's your voice that you're using because we've had friends who have tried all these different entrepreneurial pathways and you see the ones that take those tracks that are like they do a course and then they
Hmm.
come back and all of a sudden they talk differently and they're
Yeah.
and everything like their posts have this feel that's like where the hell did you go? Like you're not there anymore. You are now this like algorithm program that like somebody like you clearly went to a class and like got trained up on this thing. And but then they lose us. They lose like the original people that really care for them.
Hmm. Yep. One of the, I'll give you, you just reminded me of something that is it's just so, it's so overdone. It's just ridiculous. Is try to avoid using the words check out. Like check out my website, check out this, check out that. Everybody says that. So stop saying it if you're already saying it. Instead of saying check out, say visit me or um, or let's connect here or I invite you to, right? So make it a little bit different as an invitation. And another thing along the lines of what you were noticing there on the authenticity piece, Taylor, is vulnerability. Vulnerability attracts people. Vulnerability. So tell us a little bit about your journey to get where you are today. Tell us a little bit about your struggle in what you were trying to create, and maybe it worked and maybe it didn't. People love it's, I haven't even gone into this, but I teach a whole segment on storytelling and how important that is. And so make sure that you are allowing yourself and it's up to you. You get to decide how vulnerable you're going to be or how targeted you're going to be, how real you're going to be. I mean, that's up to you to decide. Like you don't have to put your whole life on display. What I'm saying is that when there are, let me put it this way. If you have experienced something that you think someone else is going to benefit from, so it's not in service to yourself, it's in service to another person, say that. As long as you have that feeling that you're doing this in service of other people. That's why I wrote my first book. I mean, I didn't necessarily intend to be an author at all. I'm an accidental author. But I had such an experience for 6+ years of my life caring for my mom before she died of ovarian cancer that I was just freaked out for a lot of that time, especially the first year. And I just felt like I have to share this with people so that they don't feel alone. So if you have experiences like that of failures or successes, if you have a finally somebody that you met a year ago finally came back around and they bought something that you made, or they called you up and said, hey, say, hey, I need another one. Can you come up to Mendocino County, and do this mural for me? Uh, that's like what the old joke about overnight success, right? Like how many years and decades have you been putting your blood, sweat, tears, heart, and soul into this? So people need to know that because I think, the best thing we can do in our world today is have people feel more connected, right? We've lost our connection. And that's why I talk about community so much till like I'm blue in the face, is to let people know they're not alone.
That's great. Anyone have any thoughts on that? I mean, I feel like that's a big part of like sharing our art in general is like we're having experiences as humans. We are, filtering them through us, and then we're regurgitating them. We're creating from that, turning it into something, and then we're putting it on display for the world. And then people see that, feel that, connect with that. They say like, "Oh wow, I've felt that before," or maybe I haven't felt that, and like, "Thank you for sharing. Now I understand." And like, that's like the deeper essence of what we're really doing here.
Yeah, I mean, talk about vulnerability. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, like that's a really special thing about an art walk in general, is like this isn't, the sunset market is different. People are making food and like you know, different trinkets and I don't know, like things that you're buying, but it's not art in the same way. These are like artists, local artists sharing their perspectives and ideas and creations. And every one of those booth numbers has somebody in it who is like inextricably connected to what they're showing to the world. And like, every one of us is engaging with varying levels of like imposter syndrome, maybe, or like fear, getting over that fear, facing that fear, get like, there's just so much of that. So it's like an art walk is like inherently a very like vulnerable space, which is
Hmm.
which is cool.
Hmm.
I always I'm a high school teacher and we just had like an art market for our high school kids, and they're always a really afraid to do something like this, and I always tell them like to put a piece of art out there or a piece of music or a performance piece. It's like the most guts you can ever have because art is probably the most vulnerable place you can actually exist, right? And I think that's why it's the, I guess, most universal and strongest form of connection because you have to be vulnerable when you make art. And the only way to connect to someone else is if you're fully vulnerable. If you're not vulnerable, you can never actually fully connect to another human being. Like, I don't know. Our whole theme was empathy this year and stuff. So we like did all kinds of research, and I was like pouring my guts out all year about vulnerability and Brene Brown and blah blah blah. So I love this conversation. Thank you. I'm a little tired and haven't really. I've just been listening, but I love vulnerability. My whole master's degree was written about vulnerability. So I love this discussion. So keep it up. Thanks.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say something quickly as a complete newbie to the scene. I think it's something I'm learning is to keep my sense of humor because you meet all different kinds of people. And like last weekend, I was at a cafe and it was great. I mean, I love interacting with the customers. And this one man just came over and I could just kind of sense that he wasn't quite getting it. And he picked up one of my slate boards and he was like tapping on it to see if it would break. And then he actually asked me like if I had picked it up and dropped it, if it would
Oh,
break. And I said, probably. And he said, well, you never tried that? And I'm like, no, with my piece of art, and like you could get really offended by it because this is my creation. Or you could come home and I told my family, I was just like, I mean, it was just funny, and like I knew he wasn't going to buy anything because he wasn't going to appreciate it. And I didn't really want him to buy it because he wouldn't appreciate it anyway. But I was like, how many stories up should I go to drop it to see if, it'll pass the test? I mean, it was just, you have to laugh, right? Because you meet all kinds.
oh my gosh. Yeah. Did I miss questions?
No, I don't think there's anything in the.
Okay.
Somebody
Yeah.
asked about the email platform, and I answered that Constant Contact was the one you recommended.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, unless you have that built in
Right.
your website.
Some people like MailChimp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many. I mean, depends on how much you want to spend and how fancy you want to get. If you know, there's just endless possibilities. And there's more all the time. I mean, this, how software is. It's like social media, it changes every 5 minutes. So as soon as you start to learn something, they're going to change it. So it's being adaptable and also, like Deborah said, having a sense of humor and staying curious instead of defensive.
Don, what do you think about community?
What do I think about community?
in
I
terms
love
of being
I
an
love
artist?
well, I think we spend a lot of time in our studios alone, so we need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm really not an extrovert. I just have worked in restaurants and waited tables my whole life, so I know how to talk to people. But definitely it's like even going to like meet and greet type things, meetups. If I don't know anybody, like I do kind of like what Lynn was saying about, follow people on social media first. So at least maybe you can have a little bit. I mean, I never even thought about that, duh. Um, but yeah, if I go to like things where I don't know people, I just give myself, okay, you have to go and talk to three people. And once you've talked to three people, if you want to leave, you can leave. But, but I think artist community is really important, which is one of the reasons I do stuff like this is because I'm very into building community. And I think artists need to help each other. And I don't believe in competition. I think that, none of us are in competition with each other. Even if somebody's doing colorful abstract paintings, they're not in competition with me because
Oh.
what I put into them is different than what somebody else puts into them. And so, yeah,
Collaboration is the new competition.
there you go.
Also, Don, you and I were, this is a little advanced, but you and I were talking the other day about lead magnets and you had some really good ideas like for artists. Like my lead magnet, is that PDF and it tells you about community building. It's got some bullet points that you can use to build your business. So as an artist, what kinds of ideas you were mentioning a couple the other
I mean,
day? And
I've never done any of them. This is just from following other artists. I mean, a lot of artists do things like, a free download or screensaver for your phone to sign up for your email list. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of the freebie stuff, you're not getting the people, at least for me, I feel like you're not necessarily getting the people that are gonna buy a big painting.
yeah.
I think that's not saying they never will, but so I don't know. I've never done one of those freebie things to get people to sign up for my email list.
Mhm.
And like I told you, I have Constant Contact, but I've never used it.
Yeah.
So
You're not sending out, you don't have an email list that you're sending out anything with?
no,
How do you stay in touch with all your,
good. Through social media.
yeah,
Yeah, through
yeah.
social media.
Yeah, there's all kinds of, because Don, you were talking about color wheel or color matching or color, something with color that like a painter, if you're a painter, you could offer a PDF on how,
Oh, yeah, like if you want to do workshops, you could offer like a little PDF on like color mixing or a little, just like a little tutorial on
right,
something.
right. And then Taylor, don't you teach or mentor other artists on how to get into the mural business? Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's actually kind of more broad than that. It's artists of different backgrounds and kinds, genres. There's a video editor that I'm working with, a painters of different kinds, a guy who's into comedy, and really like the concepts are all kind of like overlapping across the board. And one of the main, there's like five pillars to my concept to the whole to the course, and one of them is building community, and the community building, the way that I have it set up is really um there's three different like circles of your community that you can build. um One of them is people that are prospective buyers of one kind or another. And these could be people that would buy something for $5 up to like $50,000, whatever. It doesn't matter. If they're in a buyer, then they're kind of in that realm. People can definitely overlap, but there's like the buyers, and then there's your contemporary artists, your colleagues, your collaborators, your friends, and yeah, it's set up so that they're not your competition at all. Like we are all swimming in the same direction, and like kind of and along the lines of what you said, Don, you know, if someone buys a painting from this person and this person's art is similar to mine, I think that makes them all the more likely to buy mine. Like it's creating more buyers or more draw towards that. I don't think it's like making it, collectors catch the bug and then they want more. They rarely are like, cool, I'm good. I don't need any more. So yeah, there's that mentality and like there's this concept of team wins. So like, Don, you sell that triptych behind you, we're all on a team. Like I'm gonna celebrate like I won. Like I sold that painting. We're celebrating you. We're celebrating the team as one. And so like, and that really helps. I used to feel competitive towards other artists, and when I switched my mindset on that, it totally changed it. And my interaction with other artists, when I would meet them, when I'd go into a gallery, when I'd like, yeah, just interact with them at all, like it felt like family all of a sudden. Whereas before it was like they were the other team. And if they were scoring, then I wasn't. And so yeah, that definitely helped. But yeah, so we got the buyers and then your colleagues, and then there's people that you can like help bring up because any progress that you make in your climb up the mountain, someone else is wanting to do the same thing. And so like you can turn around and help them and lift them up um and then help, guide them, give them ideas, whatever. And any action that you do in any of the three categories with any of the connections that you're making, like all of it is a step in the right direction. And all of it, every one of those people knows people. So, like, back to your question, who do you know? Uh,
Yeah.
the more like if you just develop your community, like it's gonna come back and circle to you. And like you said, your special niche of whatever it is that you do, if you're focusing on being the best you, and then you're building your community, then everyone's gonna, and you're a good person and you're, you know, being a positive effect on the world, then like people are gonna want to refer you. And yeah, so it's all tied in.
Beautiful.
Life as an artist. My emails, one thing that came to mind when you were talking about email lists is I sold a painting to this guy like 4 or 5 years back. He'd been on my email list for like 15 years and was just reading my emails like through time, and I'd never heard from him. He now lives in Florida, and he like wandered into one of my art shows when I was back in Fort Collins, Colorado. Like just out of college, and he has stuck with my email list and he like reads my emails, he'd never respond
I love
back.
it.
One thing that happens with your email list is like sometimes I feel like I'm just like shouting into the abyss. I'm like,
Yeah.
is anyone even here? But like stuff like that can happen. And so yeah, your email list is like it's an interesting experience to have one, but I
Mhm.
definitely have had some success with it.
Mhm. And by the same token, I just started working with a new client this week, and I was explaining about the lurkers, right? Because on social media, there's more lurkers than there are people actually engaging with your posts.
Yeah.
So love the lurkers, embrace the lurkers, because they are watching. And you just never know when something is going to be resonant. That's why the authenticity, that's why the vulnerability, that's why the your face, on camera, which is very uncomfortable. I understand that for some people, but uh, it like for me, for example, I'm not going to be on camera just any old time. I'm never going to force myself to be on camera. But if I'm feeling good and I've got my hair and makeup, I'm I'm good to go. And then I can batch my content too. So I might change my earrings or a scarf but I'm going to batch my content. So I'm going to make some quick little video clips while I'm feeling inspired, while I'm feeling good, while I'm feeling camera ready. And then consequently, after all of these years, I have way more content in my phone, in my camera roll than I could ever post. And that's a quality problem. It's just what I found in working with clients and managing social accounts too for all of these decades is that that's the hardest thing for business people to come up with is content because they're busy doing what they're good at, running the business. So that's something big to overcome. And it can be, everything is figure outable, as Marie Forleo says. Thank you, Lex. See you Friday. Come say hi.
Come take an Ussie.
Well, us see. We'll do a us see.
We'll do an Ussie. Well, cool. Does anyone else have any thoughts? Anything in closing, Lynn?
I really appreciate you coming up with this idea, Taylor. This is pretty amazing. As I was saying, I've never experienced, and this is why I'm so in love with Art Walk and this whole organization, is that, you know, the leadership here is they're for the people and they're paying attention and they make it easy for us to be successful at whatever level we want to be successful. So thank you for having me. And anybody, feel free to reach out anytime. I'm as close as your keyboard and your keypad.
Awesome. Thanks, Lynn.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
And
Uh,
you're going to have the recording up on the YouTube channel eventually.
yep, yep. That happened pretty quick last time, so it shouldn't take long. I'll have that up for everybody to watch and for you to share out. Dawn,
Awesome.
anything else for the people?
Nope, I don't think so. I don't
Cool.
think so.
All right. Well, looking forward to Friday. See everybody there.
Everybody Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you Friday.
Ciao.